On today's episode of the Real Recovery Podcast, episode number 128, we welcome Anthony G. After years in prison and a relapse that took him from a job, a car, and college to homelessness in 2 weeks, Anthony found a different way forward through his children, his recovery group, It's All Good, and one moment at a time. Wait until you hear why he had to shed the name Demon and what integrity means when nobody is watching. This is episode 128, and it starts right now.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Recovery Podcast. I'm Julie, your co-host, on this journey of healing and transformation. Together with my co-host, Peter, we dive into the heart of recovery, sharing stories that resonate with courage and inspiration.
That's right, Julie. Each episode is a new chapter in this vast narrative of recovery, and we're honored to bring them to you. But keep in mind, the perspectives you'll hear are for informational purposes only and may not reflect the views of the podcast or our partners.
Indeed, while these conversations can be a powerful part of your recovery toolkit, they are not substitute for professional medical advice. We encourage you to seek guidance from your healthcare provider for any treatment-related decisions.
And if you're facing an immediate crisis, or if you just need to talk to someone who understands, don't hesitate to call a recovery crisis line at 503-223-8569. That number is also on our website. Help is available 24/7.
Now let's begin our episode
of recovery, real recovery.
Hi, Anthony. Welcome to the Real Recovery Podcast. This is Julie.
This is Peter. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. People might not know this, but Anthony is in a different part of Oregon than Peter and I. And for once, Peter and I are not in Studio H. We are in, what do we call it? Studio J? Studio H? I don't know. Studio A for Anthony? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Remote. Studio R for remote.
Oh, there you go. Studio R. So it's 88 degrees for people who are listening that are not here with us. Portland has been in, or Oregon has been in a heat wave.
And a smoke wave, which has been horrible.
Some dark clouds.
I'm glad the smoke's moved out. Jeez.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Wanted to go over a couple of things. We really have some exciting episodes coming up. And I met some incredible people this week. I'm really excited to get the Alano Club on and Miracles. So
That's
I am
awesome.
super excited about that. Yeah. And so we're going to be recording a lot this month because we have some live shows, or you can come meet us at the GTD 5K walk on September 13th. And then we'll be at the recovery walk with Oregon Recovers on the 26th.
And there's another event coming up. I don't know if we've scheduled it to attend or not, but it's the Year of Change Gala. And that's to benefit Transcending Hope, which is one of our partners. So we're really excited to promote that for them. That's September 13th. Yeah, September 13th at the Avenue. And you just go to our site. You can click through. There's a link there and more information for you guys. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be a fun time. It's 50s poodle skirt. I can't wait to see Julie in her poodle skirt.
Maybe a Letterman's jacket. Okay. Yeah, Peter, you can wear the poodle skirt. But
that or I can dress like John Travolta. I think that's kind of fits, right? With the leather.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Anthony, welcome.
How's it going?
I'm excited to meet you and to hear your story and share your recovery, which is kind of definitely what we do.
Yeah.
We only share stories of real recovery. So yeah, we've been getting asked a lot lately to share, I don't know, people's stuff they want to promote that we don't know. And we haven't really done a lot of that. So we're excited to have you. So tell me a little bit about you.
So I got 4.5 years clean after about 66 arrests in jail, 4 different stays in prison, gangs, selling drugs. I'm originally from Salem, and I know Aaron, who was on this podcast a while ago, and I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Me and his journeys been around each other for a while, right? And
Aaron.
yeah, good
And
guy.
speaking of which, I need one of those tilted halo shirts if he wants me to promote it. And you know what I'm saying? I need one of those shirts. Just putting that out there.
Don't you have
3X
enough
Aaron.
shirts from all the different...
I'll add it to my collection. And I believe that I have shoes that match that shirt. Of
Oh
course.
my God, here we go with the shoes.
So, Aaron, if you're listening, be happy
Get
to
that shirt.
promote that t-shirt, but I need a 3X. Okay.
All right, that's out of the way. Back to you, Anthony.
Excuse me. God, I guess I could say my story is the same, but I would say that getting clean, it was, everybody does the meetings, the 12 steps, which I totally, especially because like I told you guys, I run a little group that we do meetings and stuff on, and I always am like 12 steps support. For me, the meetings and the 12 steps, it wasn't, I had to find something. They say get clean for yourself, and that just wasn't working for me. I didn't care. And then I was blessed with these 2 babies, and then I have another daughter. And so originally I was trying to get clean, and I went upstate and I did the AIP, and I was like, God, and I got it. And they bumped me up, and they're like, man, you're so good. You're so smart. And I'm like teaching classes and being a big brother, everybody. Day out, I got relapsed. Just didn't know how to do it. And so I was going back to Salem, and
It's easy to stay clean when you're locked up, I think. When there's no outside influences, there's no, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? In the lifestyle. I think for me, fast money was as addicting as drugs.
so
You know
yeah,
what
that's
I'm saying?
definitely one of my things too, is my biggest thing was getting over the instant gratification, which I've stumbled here and there in my recovery with, right? But I've learned my lesson to really be patient. I always had more of that hustle mentality, and I wasn't much of a hangout in the groups. I was more of like my name known. I like that, pop in and out, move around. I was the kind of guy that would like get in a hot car and just drive around in that same one for weeks. That rush or whatever you call it. But my biggest thing is I progressed. I was an alcoholic originally, and I did a long stay in prison and got out. And then it was like everybody was on hard drugs, and
How long is a long stay?
5 years the first time. And I'll say a part of my first day too is something I've learned too is like criminal code and like putting people in that lifestyle before my family, before myself. I definitely, now that I see things, would have did things a lot different. But the way the system was, is like I was trying to get clean. So then I'd be on a waiting list. They're like 4 to 8 weeks. But every time I'm going to see my PO every 2 weeks, he's throwing me back in jail for 20 days. Then when I get out after that 20 days, they're like, hey, those 4 to 8 weeks have to start over now because you weren't calling every Monday. So that turned into absconding because I'm like, it's just not going to happen. Like I said, I went to Turning Point was the first like program I went to, which was incarcerated. And that's when I started learning a lot. And I'm a pretty intelligent person, and I kind of knack to a lot of it. And like I said, it's just going back to the same place. And then it just started progressing. My addiction was really getting out there. And I was just like, man, I was so tired of it. I was at the brink of like wanting to die but you know what I'm saying? Like just and living in guilt and shame. And I'm
being tired, huh?
yeah, but I'm a true believer in my higher power and how things were placed. They have a saying as if, oh, if you could change this and this in your life. And I'm like, I wouldn't change anything. As crazy as that sounds, it's like, I can't go back in steps. I have the 2 new daughters, they're 4 or 5. But I'm like, I don't think that I would be me mentally. And it's definitely, I think I got about 20 plus felonies. So it's definitely a struggle, right? But I'm like, I like the way that I feel now. So anyways.
Few too, Anthony. I had a few too.
Yeah. And so I think the biggest thing is, I went to treatment out here. I was looking at a whole bunch of time. but I was about to have my 5-year-old Lucy, and it just kept playing. I have a 22-year-old son, and thank God he turned out to be a good kid. But I'm like, man, I just wasn't there, right? And it comes back to that lifestyle, is putting my homies, if you want to put it that way, or putting these people before people. Once you start getting older, these people that are so close and whatever, we're all in our addiction, right? So we're all selfish, and at the drop of a hat, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden you're nothing, right?
And are they there when you go to prison?
And that's another thing too, is it's doing my first bit. I did 2 years, 24-hour lockdown, right? For causes that don't make sense, right? And it's, I got a lot
That's
of prison.
shitty.
Yeah.
That's shitty to be in jail. I don't know if Peter knows what that is, but lockdown, you don't get to mingle.
No.
You're isolated.
And it's like you get educated, but at the same time, you build such a mental health that you don't know how to deal with. And I will say it's a little better the way they release now and kind of have little programs on your way out. I've been out 3 years now. I've been off parole a year and a half, and I've been on parole since 2004. So it took me a minute. So when I went to treatment out here, okay, thank you, mamas. So I came out here, got clean. And the mother, like, we co-parent, but I'm here every weekend. That's kind of scenario. Like, we do really good as co-parenting. And like, I've worked my way up at a Burger King to an assistant manager. I was offered GM, but I have to wait until my criminal record's a little past. But anyways, I came out here to Willamette Family, and it was the same kind of scenario. Like, I'm leading the program. You're doing so good. And it made me like complacent for sure. But I just point blank period, just an ass. You know what I mean? I was clean, but I feel like everything was owed to me. I got out of full-time college, full-time job, car. Then I was like, hey, I can get high once or twice here and there. And it was like within 2 weeks, I was out in Eugene, a town I'd never been in, homeless, out here, like just the worst I've ever felt. And I'll cut through all the addiction part, but it was just a very dark point. I got arrested. And on my way to do something very bad, right, which I probably would have never got out for, because that's where I was at in my mind. And I remember
Isn't it crazy, Anthony?
Yeah.
How you can work to get the job, to get the card, to get the shit back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks
right?
gone. It was so
2
crazy.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was just like that saying where they say you start off where you left at. I think for me, it was like I started off in a whole, like, way further. It took me to half a psychosis to where I couldn't, you know what I mean? And I never been like that, really.
Do you think drugs have changed since you got out?
Oh, definitely now. I'll tell you this without being judgmental, because like I do part of what I do out here is, and I've gotten a few people, is ties with Teen Challenge and stuff like that. So I just got a dude, a homeless guy that runs around at my store all the time. I got him into Teen Challenge, and it sucks he didn't make it. He made it about 3 months, but his behavior got him kicked out. Now he's back out here but I see what even the guys that I know that back in the day we were balling or doing their thing, it's like they all are just miserable. And it's like, definitely what I tell people all the time is I don't really have triggers or urges, but I keep my support regardless of how I keep it to be safe from these. Like my last relapse, I had everything. And then it was like, boom, I went back to prison. But the good thing about it was this time around, and I was lucky because I was looking at a lot of time. COVID hit and all this stuff hit. And then I had some, Monica Morton, like I give her a shout out, stood up for me in my courts and stuff as an advocate, was like, he did this, he just did this. And Willamette Family stood up for me. And it took 2 years, which sucked at the time because next I had another kid on the way, which I didn't know about until, while in my addiction, and I found out. And I remember, so I'm in the drunk tank, and a lifelong friend of mine, he's going up for 9 years. He's like, you're getting out. I'm like, no, I'm not, but I'm okay. And so I used to go by Demon, my moniker, whatever. And I told him, hey, I'm shedding that now in the drunk tank. And I said, bro, I'm done. And he's the one person when I first started saying it was like, I believe you. And it was a big step. It was so hard to go from nobody called me Anthony for 25 years. And as soon as I went through the jail, I stated it to everybody I knew. And I'm like, dude, I'm done, bro. I'm going to be a dad, bro, whatever that means. And I went back to prison, and I made it like a positive experience as best as I could. I studied my readings. The biggest thing that I studied was stuff for myself. I have severe anxiety, which now I'm getting to the points where it's like, I don't do medications. I don't do anything. I vape, which is my next step to get rid of. But when I'm angry or upset, because I'm usually, they got the flight or flight.
Yeah.
I'm usually the run to. And now it's like I'm an assistant manager at Burger King. You have to have a lot of patience.
Right.
And the one thing I'll say is everything that I do now is like a trial, learn as I go, but I'm a good dad. And so it's like, that's the one thing I know no one could tell me is I am a great dad. I'm present. I'm caring. I'm loving, which is weird for me too, because even with my other kids, I wasn't a huggy, love you type of dad when I could admit it. And now they don't get off of me, right? I love them to death, but they don't get off of me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the biggest part of my story is like, I would like to get to a place. I like helping other people that want to be helped. I'm more stern in a way. I'm pretty like straightforward. If you want it, I got you. If you don't, I'm not the one that's going to sugarcoat it type.
I know for me, I've been out of prison for 32 years, Anthony. 32 years. And it seems like yesterday, because personally, I watch everything I do to not be caught in a compromising situation. I won't go in a car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, won't do it.
Yeah, same. And it's crazy how those behaviors, but you said you couldn't do it for yourself. And I will have to tell you that when I came into the program, I didn't do it for myself either. I did it, one, to get off parole, period. Okay, 6 months. I had to get the slip signed. And I had a 4-year-old daughter. And I was gone for her 2nd birthday. That wrecked me. And so at first, I just wanted to be a good mom. And it's hard to say, but my childhood it didn't look like the Brady Bunch, right? Let's just say that. And I wanted hers to look like that. And
and that's a blessing. Like, so for like with me, the one thing is I tell people, like my kids, like even when me and their mother are not getting along, it's like through a text message. It's like I grew up with violence, trauma, loss, and they're really spoiled, but I'm like, I like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they don't know that. They don't know anger. They don't know abuse. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not a spanker. They walk all over me, but I'll
tell you the key. The key is to take away the thing they like the most at the time. So it's been the iPod. It's been this. It's been the car. It's been the cell phone. Whoosh, that one worked. And I'll tell you another little trick. I say, I'm going to think about this. I don't know what punishment. You think about it too. You tell me what's good. Mm-hmm. And just the stressing over it, worth it right there. Yeah. And hers, she always came up with harder ones than me, and I loved it. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the key right there. It is not hitting. It is not spanking. I don't think yelling works either. I think after a while, they just don't hear you. I think that's in the real world too, right?
Yeah, and that's the part, like you said, that I couldn't do it for myself is like, you could threaten me with jail. Honestly, up until I've been out 3 years, God, it took me a lot that was my norm. So it's like, you can't threaten me with jail.
You can threaten me with jail, Anthony. I didn't want that.
But now that's what I'm saying.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
For
now,
real. Yeah.
People that have known me from now to now, and I think we're having a conversation at jail at work the other day, and they're like, what'd you do if someone came in here and tried to take something? I was like, they can take it, and I'm calling the cops on them. I'm like, I don't live like that no more. I'm like, I don't care what no one thinks. I said, I don't even speed. Like, I live in Eugene. That's all people do. And they do not like the way that I drive because I'm doing the speed limit. And people are like, oh, why?
Peter, like, Anthony, don't tell. Peter
no.
Like
no, I don't.
I drive like grandma. I'm just telling you, he gets in the fast lane by the middle thing. And I'm like, Peter, can we just stay in the middle lane? Yeah.
I got places to be. I got to get to where I need to be.
See, I'm like you, Anthony. I'm like this. Look.
Yeah, and one thing I did learn,
and I'm not.
Yes, and it's one thing I did learn is when you start. So integrity is a big thing about my recovery, right? And I'll tell you, this is one thing that I've learned and I've because of me being involved with a lot of people that I've met out here trying to help people and this and that. Not everybody in recovery is really in recovery, right? Like taking advantage and using sober houses. And I'm like, I help to help because it's like I took so much in my addiction, right? And like I said, and I know a lot. So it's like, why not? And it's like just having integrity. I try to tell people all the time, I'm like, bro, if you want to have a good life and be in recovery, a lot of the times, for one, you got to do a lot of stuff you don't want to do. Work, be by yourself, which was dangerous for me at first. Because I just got my own place with my buddy, and I have my mom there who I have to take care of, who's, because of drug use, is pretty mentally ill, but denial after denial, and I finally got my own home. So I've been in sober living for 3 years. So I just worked and went to my room. It wasn't a very good sober living house, but because I was already so set that I was going to stay clean when I got out, it didn't bother me. But a lot of people use at the house. But yeah, like my whole thing is just, I got a year left and then I'll have my degree.
What are you getting your degree in?
So it's in substance abuse, but it's in arts of human services. Substance, I'm going to, which is crazy. So there's a college, I don't know if you've heard it, but it's Hilbert College, right? It's a Catholic college in New York. And because of my record at first, because of my criminal history, they had denied me. And then I was just kind of that. And it was when I was first starting to try to learn because in our addiction, we don't care about none of that. Just like I just got 9 suspensions lifted off my license. I didn't know I had that much. I didn't care. And now that I'm like, when I'm 40 years old, just trying to learn how to do this normal people stuff. But it was cool. I wrote a letter of what I've been doing. And I just told them, like I even started, I said, look, from my child up to here, from this point, my prison, and I was completely honest. And then they sent me back a thing and they accepted me into the college. And it has it's a high rank substance abuse and like some other science something. But yeah, so I took summer break off on it because I've been doing it year round. And I've learned one thing definitely in recovery is you have to know when you're doing too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like
you can get addicted to recovery and that good feeling and that service work, just like you can get addicted to anything. We started the podcast. I think I was addicted to the podcast. Just making it successful. I want to be successful at everything I do. And in business, I've been super successful. So I think I agree with you. Sometimes you just got to slow it down. I also think, and this is after a lot of years, and it took me a long time to get there, sometimes just keeping it simple, just an equation that works. You know what I mean? So you said you went to a 12-step program. I'm curious which one.
I've been to so many, but I went to AIP, which was Turning Point, was when I've been in and out of NA and AA since I was 6 because of my family. I going to campouts, going to the meetings. And like I said, I'm very careful how I say this just because how I got clean and stayed clean was very different, right? Because what was happening when I was going to all these meetings, and maybe it was because places, people, whatever, or I wasn't ready, and I've ran a bunch of them as well. I've done in everything from Briety, which I used to run those type of meetings. I've done Criminon when it first started, and I was trying to apply to be an elder. So I mean, I've been
those people on our show, Anthony.
Yeah, Bear and all that. Bear used to be my sponsor. Yeah,
we had Bear on our show.
Yeah. And so
we've
it's like
had Bo, and we've had Doyle, who was in Turning Point to begin with. Yeah,
and Turning Point was a really good program. I didn't agree with some of the programs focused on the negative first. I understand the concept. And so I'll tell you what one of my goals is. So I'd have this It's All Good recovery thing. At some point, I want to start my own like treatment and recovery. That's my long-term goal. But based on, so say if you ever come to the meet, like I said, they're really small right now. It varies. We've been going for about a year and a half. Wintertime, they're a lot bigger. I have people from Canada. The guy that, I don't know if you guys ever go to the app on NA and they got Ken there, the dude in Canada. He comes every once in a while. So it's starting to grow. But the only rule really in that group is that you got to give a positive affirmation, right? And so when we're sharing, I allow people to share a little bit more than NA does. And then so what we do It's just like, okay, if this person shares something that triggers you, then let's move to that person. And so then we could deal with that. And how are you going to cope with that instead of ignoring it? Right.
Cool.
So I wanted to build a different approach because like sometimes, and it's like I said, I'm definitely a 12, like I still have my 12-step book right next to my bed. I definitely enforce 12 steps. I know that it works for a majority of people. 90 meetings in 90 days. Mine was to stay busy, focus on my kids, focus on my mental health. And then I got to a place to where I started getting into recovery more, right? And I talk to people all the time that need resources or they need someone to talk to. And I just do it. But so like, I wanted to create a place that if you were just getting burned out on NA and you could come to something different for a day.
That's cool.
From home or from wherever, you know what I'm saying? And it's a good group. It was getting really busy and like it was booming up. And then I kind of changed my work schedule a little bit. So I didn't have as much time to put into it as I would like. But I always like that. I like to just kind of how when I read your email, I really like that where it's like, you want to hear more about the recovery. That's where I'm at in my life. It's like, I got a good story to tell, but it's like, who hasn't heard the same story?
More about the recovery. I just noticed sometimes that, and what I was implying is that to give the recovery as much as we give the story, because I just want there to be hope. When Aaron came to our podcast, I really liked the shirt he had on that night, and it was Hope Dealers, right? Yeah. And I am a hope. I like to believe this show is a hope dealer. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd like to believe it's, if you can't get to a meeting, this is a meeting in itself. You know what I mean? Telling your story, like 66 felonies is a lot, Anthony. Yeah.
I think I got about 20 something. Yeah. And then like I have my arrest cycles at about 66. I just talked to a lawyer and he told me wait till 2027 to get an expunge on my record. And I said, why? He said, because you got 20 more of them coming open. And he's like, and then we can work from there. And I was like, I didn't know. It's like, I didn't know. I was
waited a long time to get mine done. And I had to have Peter do the printout because he has a printer. And he was like,
how many sheets is this going to take?
Yeah. And because I kept getting arrested and they would drop the charges, but they print out all those times you're arrested.
Still stay.
Yeah. And so it looks like you got 40 more than you have. So I just got my record expunged because of a little situation that bit me in the ass 31 years later. But I just got mine expunged, and the thing I wanted gone more than the felony was the arrest. Sorry about all the confusion here. But yeah, was the arrest as much as, you know what I'm saying? Because they make the record look triple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost at the points where it doesn't even
matter.
It doesn't matter to me as much. And I'm not one of those people that are in recovery. They go to work, they try to, I'm pretty tatted up and stuff, but like I'm open. I tell people all the time, I clean date at work and people I meet, I'm always reaching out, giving my information out. Hey man, hit one of our meetings, or if you need resources, like I know a couple people that are involved in 4D.
Over your shoulder.
Yeah, and the thing is like I definitely don't judge people in addiction, but like when people hit me up, it's like, look, if you're not looking for help, I learned real quick that if you leave that back door open, it only takes 1 second. And I think that's the biggest thing, that like being in recovery and being clean, or even if you just want to say you're being sober, but I think without some type of backup plan and support, but like the biggest thing is I don't think people grasp is like you have to have, and I don't care who you are, right? You have to set your own settings to yourself of how you get clean with grounding skills, coping skills, and this saying they say just another 24. And so like for my group, I was kind of like, yeah, that's a little bit too much time for me, right? So I said one moment at a time, right? Because I said I'm so impulsive, 24 hours gives me too much time to think, right?
Love that.
Yeah,
Wasn't
so
there
I'm always...
a coin we got that was like 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, so I got coins I made for my group, and on the back of the coin it says one moment at a time, and somebody was like, don't you mean 24? And I was like, no, that's the NA thing and everything or whatever. But I said, you could say that. I'm just stating it like I know me. You give me 3 hours of my own thoughts. If I'm in a bad behavior or something, I'm going to make a bad choice, right? I'd rather go, I'm feeling this way. And what's cool is I have a group I have a set, and this is another thing I like to put out there, like when people are listening, is like, I have people that I could call, at least 5 minimum, but I have 5 that I could call right now that will answer the money, that will answer the phone, that would send me money, that would tell me like, and this is for me. I'm like, I don't need someone when I call to be like, just don't do it. That I need someone to be like, go ahead, be stupid, leave your kids. You know what I mean? That's what works
No,
for
I
me.
am. If you're going to say you're going to jump off the bridge, please don't be wasting my time. You know what I mean? If you were
And
really
sometimes
going to
people call
do
me a
it,
dick for it.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not really, Peter's a lot nicer in that area, but I am like, I see bullshit really easy,
Yeah.
right? I have a bullshit meter like you wouldn't believe. And yeah, I'm the same way. If you don't want it. And the other thing I feel I have to kind of see you earn it as well to really get my buy-in. I feel when I see you going to meetings and doing everything, I guess the best example, Peter, is Jonah. When I see you live in the program, my heart opens, right? And I just want you to make it. And then I see people that may or may not give the program a chance and whatnot. And I
Yeah, and
pray
it's
that
like,
I'm
don't,
wrong. I pray that I'm wrong, right? Because I want you to get recovery. But I see you're about bullshit. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
No, I totally agree. So I'll tell you guys just a little story about like helping people in recovery. I'm not going to say names, and obviously, but
Yeah.
a guy, childhood friend, right? And he might hear this, he might not. It's fine. He made his choices. So he was in Portland doing his thing, having a hard time, relapse after a little bit of time. And I'm like, dude, I can get you out here. I get you a job. Did all that. Money, helped him out, paid, covered him at work. And I'm going to prison for all this time. And I said, bro, this is something that, this is another thing people should really listen to. You don't know it. They could tell you whatever they want to tell you to scare you. Like I thought I was going to do 10 years for sure this time with my record. The DA did not like me, but I made a connection with enough people that believed they were like, that I was going to stay clean. Right. And yeah, I had to go back, but given the opportunity. So one thing that was crazy, and it's like God works in mysterious ways. I'm from Marion County. All my charges are from Marion County, but I had changed my parole to out here, relapsed, and within 2 months went upstate. They were trying to force me back to Salem, and I firmly believed I just wasn't going to make it in Salem. Some people, man, I super respect when you can stay in the same place and stay clean. But I'll tell you, my kids were out here. Everybody I know was using at the time. I have a lot of friends now that are all clean doing their thing, and they always never believe that I'm clean out of everybody, right? Because I was always like, literally, first one in, going all the way. I'm not going to sleep. You know what I mean? And I was always a realist too. And that's what was sad about my addiction but it's a good thing in my recovery, right? It's because I was always like, my grandma, as soon as I'd see her, be like, hey, I'm going to jail. She'd be like, for what? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just letting you know at some point I'm going, right? Because I knew that's what every time I picked up, I knew that it wasn't going to stop until, and I got to the points where I would tell people, I'm going until I'm dead or in prison, right? But then my mind started, man, I seen it. My first child born, my daughter Lucy, I seen her born. Then it was like, I used to have this big guilt. And this is something that I really do urge people to, is you got to get over it. And it's like I said, I'm kind of straightforward. Whatever you did in your past, whatever you did to your kids, that used to fuel my addiction. Man, I was a shitty dad and da-da, and then I beat myself up and now I'm the victim, right? Which I'm not. But it's like, then I would use that as an excuse to pick up. And what kept me pushing forward, even like I went back to prison. I could have been like, I'm going back to prison. Who cares? You know what I mean? And started building that prison mentality and war storying. And instead I chose to, especially being a gang member and then an ex-gang member. And I had a scuffle or whatever in there. It came with it, but it was like, it was just a choice. I was like, I let no negativity into me. I believe in, I'm not native or nothing, but I used to study a lot of the Wellbrighty. I like what a lot of that speaks about energy, and what you bring to your table is what's going to be around you. And I like smudging, and I like something that I do for myself because I definitely have an anger problem, right? And it just doesn't come about a lot. And so it's like people that know me now, they're like, I'm a straightforward person, but I'm like goofy and I'm laughing. And I'm like, bro, in my addiction, you wouldn't have heard me talk more than 2 words. And I was angry and I hated everything. And now I love my kids. I'm uncomfortable all the time. Right. And so it's like, that's another thing. It's like, you got to get over the anxiety. And I do have, like, I'll have people call me, which is cool that people can trust me. And that's where I think you should get. I think that everybody deserves that. It's going to be in recovery to have people they can call, right? For no reason, and just be like,
Yeah.
whatever your guys' relationship's going to be like, right? Like I said, mine, I like it straightforward. The only time I was ever triggered, ever to really use, was when I had my teeth pulled. And it was like I walked up to the street, and then I was like, one thing I had learned is when I first was starting to get clean was like someone had said once, don't carry money. And it was a trip because it worked out that way. So it's like by the time I got to the ATM, I was like, bro, I'm going to lose my kids. That's another thing too that I'm great. The mother of my kids, when I got out, she had more clean time than me and was like, hey, you see your kids whenever you want, no matter what between us. But if you use, that's it. I'll fight you not to see them. And so I was like,
It was the same rules for me.
Yeah.
I never kept the father away, and my daughter always thanks me for it. And when I thought he was sober for,
and isn't it crazy? Like the things that we like dread, right? When I'm doing good, I used to go see my parole officer before I was off. And I'm like, hey, you going to give me a UA? You know what I mean? I had 3 UAs since I've been out. But it's like, I used to get mad. Bro, I want a UA because it's like, I've failed so many
I'm
before.
clean, motherfucker. I want to. Yeah.
What the fuck?
If I was dodging it, right?
Got a probation violation into a felony because I just didn't want to give it UA. But it was cool though. Like even it's, like I said, as much, I've got a huge record for running from the police, drugs, doing all this for them to be like, they tried to fight to let me off early. It didn't work out. The main parole board was like, it's not happening, but everybody else approved me. And that was a great feeling. And I'm all about, like I said, in my little group, there's one thing that we like to do is like, I tell people like the reason that I ask for a positive affirmation, if you're going to be in the group, and I even invite people that are using too. I'm like, if you're using, that's fine. Come on in. I said, the reason I do the positive affirmation, I said, is because like everything we do, it's difficult to give ourselves one every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, even when they don't want to share, I'm like, positive affirmation. They'd be like, what do you mean? I said, did you get up and make your bed today? And they'd be like, yeah. I said, I know you did. Probably. I said, that's accomplishing something.
Right. Yeah.
When that dude came and bumped you in the shoulder, did you punch him in the face or did you tell him to go fuck off? Right? No, that's a major accomplishment. Right. And it's like,
it's cool to point out things that people may not see themselves. And that's what you're doing there.
And a big part of my
I love
recovery
that.
now. So what, 4.5 years, and I'll be honest, and I know people listen to this and people are waiting 3 months clean, 4 months clean, 5 months clean to start feeling normal. And if you did time like me, I'm going to be honest, I'm just barely, after 4.5 years and 3 years out of prison, I'm just barely starting to understand who I am and how I feel about
It's the same
things.
for me. It takes as long as it takes, right?
It takes a while for the brain to heal, to get right.
I see where Peter is at 9 years, and I think he's so brilliant, right? And I'll see somebody come in at 3 and 4 years, and for me, it took 3.5 years to not be wanting to vomit on the doctor getting a blood test. For me, you know what I'm saying? And it takes what it takes, but it's taking me a long time to turn around that thinking. And I say that because the one thing I want like you and other people to know is that even though I've been sober a long time, I don't got it all together. I just keep coming back and just keep trying. And every day, I write them out every single day. And then what you said about the affirmation, I try to even take it to a different level. And if this helps somebody, cool. But instead of just saying, I'm going to walk 30 minutes today, right? I then say, I'm going to walk 30 minutes because it will lower my blood sugar. It will help my muscles loosen up. My back will hurt less, right? And I substantiate the reason why, you know? And I think it's the same with getting sober or going to therapy or to continue. I think when you stop working on yourself and you get too comfortable, I think that's when you have to look out. I've seen a lot of people get that fancy car, the house, the relationship, and one block comes out and they're fucked, right? So I stick with I don't got it all together. You know what I'm saying? I'm a work in progress. And I will tell you, it took me a lot longer than feel comfortable.
We lost you for a second, but you're back.
Oh, it took me longer than most to feel comfortable. Does that make sense? It took me, I think, longer than most to trust. You know, you sound like you're pretty open and willing to help a lot of people. I wasn't willing to go around people that are using, and sometimes now it still makes me feel uncomfortable.
No, yeah,
So kudos to you.
I would not. There's one thing I tell people. There's one thing I share all the time, especially when people are first getting clean. I use a scenario. I'm like, I said, there's one thing is because they're like blown away that I'm clean, right? That's just how bad I was where I'm from. And it's like, I say, look, I would not go to a house and hang out with people unless they were passing that dope pipe around. I said, because I might not that day, but the next day it might happen or whatever, right? And I said, that's another thing that when I was putting it in there about, I think when people, also the complacency you were talking about, but another side of it is too, is that people don't really look at is leaving the back door open. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is like, they'll find any little excuse where, oh, I really love that dude, he's my pet or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? They call that dialectical thought. You know what I mean? And it's a behavior where you're technically, yeah, you care about that person, but now that door is still open for when you're having it. Like they say, misery loves company, right? They all salute you. Man, you're clean. I wish I could get clean, but I promise you right now, there's not one person I would call right now if I said, hey, I'm coming to get loaded. They would tell me no because they know how I am. I'm coming, right? So I just leave it at that. And it's like, I just tell people, I give them the opportunity, and I'm like, and I'm blessed that I was working and trying to help my mom do all this stuff. And that's a whole long story, my mom. But I got connected with Teen Challenge, the lady that works there, and then the guy that works over at the other one. And I'm able to send a text. And like I said, the last guy, I got him in within the next day. You know what I mean? They got him right out there, boom. And so it's like,
I think that's important.
Yeah, and so it's like, then when I try to tell these cats all the time that are out here, like I said, I'm pretty straightforward. It's like, you either want it or you don't. When they're making all these excuses and they're like, my back hurts and I got this settlement coming or I got this. And I'm like, bro, when you're tired of being on the streets and homeless, you're tired. I said, come hit me up. Like, I got you, but like, otherwise, like, I'm not the one, bro. You can't help somebody that's either halfway or doesn't want to, but it doesn't mean you can't live as an example, right?
Yeah.
To see me.
You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. You can preach. You can even set it up so that it'll work, but they have to do the work. I strongly believe that. I see you because we're on the same, I do the podcast website, though I don't do a very good job at it because I think you're pretty amazing at social media, just so you know. No, really. I work 9 to 6. I'm not allowed to have my phone at work, so that's why it takes me sometimes a second to communicate. You're flawless at it. I want you to know that. I see you all the time, and I really don't want to get emotional, but I really love how much you support us and stuff like that. We're big on Spotify and YouTube and Apple, right? But I suck at Instagram. I barely know how to post a picture, okay? I'm being honest here. And then I don't always like my picture. Me and Peter have been talking a lot about this lately. But I want you to tell people about your group, how they can find you, or how they can connect with you, because I believe you're really good in that area, Anthony. Actually exceptional, to be honest with you.
So definitely, yeah. Facebook is where it starts. Just type in It's All Good Recovery. And I have zero problem with people typing in Anthony W. Good and adding me on Facebook.
Is that your real last name?
That is so It's All Good Recovery. It was called something else. I'm not going to get into it, but the guy that I had started.
Is that really your last name?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I put it together. If you see one of my little things that pop up in my group, it always says at the end of the day, if you're not higher in jail or whatever, just, or even in the bad, just remember you're alive. So be like, it's all good. I was sitting trying to think of something. Yeah.
Like I said,
Little conceited, but whatever.
No, be conceited, bro. I am so arrogant where I might not have it all together. You know what I'm saying? I am. But that is genius, first of all. And maybe you've missed your calling in some other areas that you haven't even developed yet. Because
I'm still getting there, yeah.
I'm just telling you, for real, you need a different kind of...
I do have, like I said, I have little plans. And like I said, sometimes life starts to shift. I was going to start a whole little podcast thing. Like I got a little YouTube videos. You can actually go on YouTube. And if you look up Anthony Good on YouTube, there's a couple of our meetings that are recorded with people sharing their stories. I was getting that, and then for kids, college. So I'm like, it's all going to come.
Don't do too much. Don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah. And so that's why I spaced it.
It will come. It will come.
But also, so yeah, the It's All Good Recovery, I'd love people to go on there and post their stories. Like I said, we're at it comes and goes with this group right now. Like I said, sometimes we have 20 people in this meeting from New York. Right now we got like 5 or 6 of us, same ones. We show up it's been going, I started it. So I'll tell you guys the reason I started it. I was having a hard time with the NA thing. Every time I went, it was someone's birthday. I just didn't feel like I was getting my needs met, but I knew I needed some type of support, right? And sometimes I just didn't, I'm like, and I'm tired and I started talking to people and I'm like, what if I just started a meeting on Zoom? And then we do it just for today. And I'm like, let's cut out all the readings. And like I said, I respect everything about 12 steps in AA. And a lot of the stuff I've learned,
they take a long time in the meeting. Fucking sometimes 17 minutes to get all this shit out.
And so I will tell everybody.
For real.
The biggest thing about my meeting I would like to get out there is if you want a place to where there's no rules about what you share, obviously there's common sense, right? But if you need to go in there and talk about using drinks, some things NA don't allow at meetings, right? Like I said, one of the biggest things is I say share it. And if this other person's triggered by it, right? But we also do a thing where it's like you're allowed to have a bad day and share your bad day, but it can't be every single meeting. And that was another thing that turned me off. I go to a meeting and it's the same person saying the same shit.
Yeah.
And so, so that's just like, we're positive in this meeting. Sometimes we talk shit to each other in the meeting, laugh, and we get, after a year and a half of us running, it's pretty close. We do a meetings Thursday at 6 p.m. If you add me on Facebook, they used to have the group chats on Facebook groups and they took them away. So if you add me, Anthony W. Good on Facebook, I can add you into our chat, right? And I post the links there of every meeting. We have a Saturday one at 2 p.m. Like summertime, it's been kind of small. And then Sunday's supposed to be an only women's meeting, but we haven't found enough ladies to keep it running. I have a lady that does run it, so anyone's allowed to come. And you don't want to share. The beauty about Zoom is you can go there, muted, blank screen. Everybody in there is always willing to give their numbers. It's a good group. And it's like, we haven't, like I said, it's been kind of dwindling in members as showing up. But it's like, this happened last summer too. And then winter came and it was booming again.
It always goes in cycles. Yeah. I'll definitely grab your links and I'll put them in the show notes for this episode for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm always just available if people, I just put my name out there. I'm one of them type of people, I'm an assistant manager at Burger King. My phone's right there. If somebody hits me up and they're like, da-da, I message back right away. Like, hey, this is what's up. Just know that I'm going to tell you straightforward.
You are quick, bro. For real. I love it, though. I love it. And what I love about that is you're like this other person I know, and they're quick too. But if you weren't, I'd wonder where you were. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd be like, shit, haven't seen Anthony in a minute.
Yeah, if I'm gone, then there's something up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something. That's why I tell people at work, they're like, one time we were so busy and that old part, this is my first, couple years and I got flailed. We were so busy and somebody was like, I'm in recovery. And that's the thing that I think is crazy. I'll never blame somebody for using it unless I have a UA in my head, right? I'll ask. because you never know. But I was just flailed out. I was so stressed.
I'm not going with that, Anthony, because I can tell if you fucked up. Okay.
Well, okay.
I'm telling you.
But you know what I
can
mean.
tell if you're tweaking through your backpack on the Zoom link.
Yeah, there's a depth. But I'm saying if
shit.
somebody's getting a little like me, I was like going. But I'm like, we were super busy. It was hot. And somebody in recovery had called my boss and said, I think that he's using that. And I said, give me a UA, bro. But it was real irritating. And it was like, and I told people straight up, I said, I'm going to tell you the first sign that I'm using, I'm not coming to work. And if it is, I'm probably safe. Oh,
Gee.
but yeah, I definitely.
That would fuck up the high, right? I agree.
Yeah, I'm not going to work. I'd be too paranoid. Everybody knew.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're going to get your degree. You got this little group. We're coming up on an hour. I want words of wisdom for our listeners. Like, what is, everybody has something. The last person, Ben, said, be authentic.
I would honestly, if I could tell people anything, it would be obviously the something that I live by is the one moment at a time. But the biggest thing is just integrity, right? So being in recovery, you're going to have to do a lot of the right things when nobody notices, right? And you got to just keep going because God sees, or whatever your higher power is or whatever, but it's just the right thing to do.
You know.
That's,
You have to live with it.
But on top of the one moment at a time is regardless if you're going to go to meet, because like I said, the meetings didn't work for me in my recovery. You got to find your own recovery. The biggest thing is you have to have people that will hold you accountable and support. That'd be my biggest words of wisdom is you have to have people.
Do work for you, Anthony. I'm going to argue with you for a minute because I like to. I think meetings do work for you. I think structured meetings might not be your thing. But the fact that you have this group, it's all good, which I fucking cannot get over that's your real last name. And that's the name of the group. But the fact that you have this group, it's all good and it's not structured, but you show up, meetings do work for you. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah,
it just might not be the little perfect pitched meeting, right? It seems to me like your meetings are real, right? They're authentic. They're unrestricted, right?
Yeah.
It seems to me that there
is one rule.
And I'm just saying, though.
I love that.
To me,
I do.
that sounds
awesome.
great for someone who people come in the rooms and they're like, I don't believe the God bullshit. I'm not doing this, right? I'm not doing that. It seems to me that you have an outlet for that. So I'm going to argue and say you do like meetings. You just don't like the regular old meeting.
It's finding one that fits for you. And for me, it took a long time to find the group that fit for me and the type of meeting that works for me. And I totally get what you're saying about the structure, and because that was a lot of my other group where I started. That was part of it too. They're very stuck in their way, and this is how it has to be, and you only talk about this, and you can't do what? I'm a person. I've got a life, and it is what it is. Let me talk about it honestly. So I like that you have a space for people to be able to do that. I think that's awesome. And I love the affirmation because I do that too. I meditate. That's my form of.
And some people come in a panic about it. They're like, "What do you want me?" And I'm like, "Bro, there's no rules."
Yeah.
Do you got matching socks on?
You can't even argue with me. There's no fucking rules, bro. For real. No, I love that. Because you know what? Like I said, I like to argue sometimes or point out things. But I think there's, like you said, Sobriety. We love Sobriety. I love Sobriety.
Yeah.
Some of the most authentic people. And I don't think it's the same for everyone. And you've given them yet another venue to meet and be authentic. And I do.
And I
think
hope it just keeps growing.
Everything.
It'll
grow more from this as well. And I will tell you, you know how it's just being consistent. Does that make sense? Even if you only have one meeting a week, right? It's just being consistent. Peter, is there anything you want to wrap up with?
Oh, no, like I said, I like that you talked about integrity. And for me, that goes hand in hand with honesty. And I've talked about that in my shares because for me, I needed to be honest with myself, and I needed a space that I could be honest and open.
Yeah,
in.
and leave your bad addiction traits back with where you left it in your addiction. I'm dealing with my mom right now. She has schizophrenia real bad, and she's like younger in the mind, and she lies and does a lot of stuff, and just like pushes. And I tell my mom, like, Mom, we're clean now.
Yeah.
What do you need to lie for? For what? Just don't do stuff you got to lie about.
Yeah. Then you don't have to lie.
Yeah. It's not, that's how, you know, that
Makes sense.
one moment, right? That one moment, you know what I'm saying? Before you want to make a bad choice and go, am I going to have to lie to somebody about this? Because if you do this, it's probably not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
No, I think
exactly.
integrity is important. I personally try to stay away from the drama. It hurts my brain now.
I can't do it.
Me neither.
If we're especially like, and not trying to be like aggressive sounding, but I've always been like, if there's drama and we're two grown men, if we're not fighting about it, we're not talking about it like in a positive way, I just don't want to deal with it. And obviously I'm not fighting now because I'm not going back to jail.
Yeah.
Fight anymore either.
Get your licks in now. You're mad at me from the past. You can get your licks in now.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you for coming in long distance, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for all the social media. I think you got a good thing here. And I think it's an honest thing. I love it. You're not trying to be something you're not. And
Yes. Yeah, thank you for being
really,
so real and open and heartfelt with your story and what you're doing.
I appreciate
I think that's
I know
fantastic.
somebody's going
About
to
the
get
headphones.
something from
Yeah,
it.
and the pink headphones, man. If people could only see
the
this,
one ear muff.
they might think
People see
differently of you.
this grown-ass man in these light pink headphones.
I seen it at the last when I was reading the email before I came in, and I'm like looking at, because I'm not at my house. I'm looking for, I see my kids' little, and I'm like, man, we'll
Hey,
see if
they work, right?
I love it. Can you do me a favor?
course.
Send me your address and we'll send you a shirt. And then hopefully we'll get one from Anthony Burrell as well, since we gave him the shout out on his shirts, right?
I'll definitely
So-
post it all over too.
I feel like I have a friend in Eugene, and I actually am missing. I attend a meeting on Friday nights at 7 in Eugene via Zoom called We Need Each Other. I'm going to make it to Eugene sometime, so I'll go to Burger King. I'll meet you, my man.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm right
But
there.
I'll mail you a shirt, okay? I want you to be able to represent, okay?
Yeah, if you guys need it, like I said, I got a pretty good following on TikTok, and I got like 1,000 plus. I've been building this. I got a new phone, so I kind of stopped for a little bit, and I couldn't go on. But now I just got a new phone. I'm gonna start doing
We
the
might
lives.
need your help, Anthony, because we suck
I'm
on
down.
social media. So
they
I
have
might be
platforms
reaching-
right now that you to look into to expand. They do panels on TikTok, recovery panels, and that's something that I'm going to start doing too. I would like to do.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah, so
look
that-
into that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Thank you again. And this has been a wonderful episode that I think there's a lot of people who will get a lot out of it.
I think so too.
Yeah, because
Tell your
you're covering an area that's just unique and from a lot of the stories and people that we've talked to. So I love that you're catching that niche right over there. It's awesome.
If you want to be clean,
so
if you want to stay clean, regardless, you'll stay clean.
yeah, and recovery is not a shoe. It's not one size shoe that fits everybody's got different recovery. So
Yeah.
I love to bring on people who can talk about different types of recovery and show people that, okay, so if you're struggling and you're going to these meetings and you're not getting it and it's not working for you, there's other meetings out there. There's
Don't
other
use,
groups
just
out
keep
there.
looking.
Just
Yeah.
don't use. Exactly.
Just don't use.
That's not the option. Please tell your daughters thanks for giving their dad to us for an hour.
Oh, they're happy. They got to steal my phone, which is rare.
Oh, very nice.
They're all here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Take care. Okay.
Thank you,
Peter.
guys.
Thank you.
We got to
This
sign
is
off.
Julie. I'm
is
sorry. This is Julie, and this is Anthony, our friend. It's all good, and
I love it. It's all
all
good.
good.
the Real Recovery Podcast. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks to each and every one of you for lending us your ears and hearts. Your engagement is what fuels our passion and keeps this podcast thriving.
We cherish the moments we share here and hope they resonate with you, whether you're on a daily commute, at the gym, or just taking a moment for yourself.
Make sure to head over to our website at realrecoverypodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter for the latest insights and uplifting stories from our community delivered straight to your inbox.
Click that subscribe button on your favorite podcast player too, so you can keep up with every new episode. It's your support that keeps our conversation alive and meaningful.
And if our stories have touched you, consider using the donate button on our site. Your contributions, no matter the size, are deeply appreciated. They help us continue our mission of sharing hope and healing.
Join us beyond the podcast and follow our journey on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. All the links are on our site, so you can stay connected and be a part of the Real Recovery community every day.
Your likes, shares, and comments not only spread the message of recovery, but also remind us that we're all in this together.
So, until we meet again, remember that recovery is a journey, not a destination, and we'll be here to accompany you every step of the way to recovery, real recovery.
Thanks for listening.